special meeting with the town planning board. And by the way, we also act as the planning board for the village here. But this is Tuesday, January 23rd, 7 p.m. We normally have these on the second Tuesday, but this is a special meeting jointly with the town so that we can hear someone who wants to come in and tell us about the activities that they have planned. We have Don White, who's our attorney. He is here. We have Mr. O'Connor to my left. We have Chris Craywick. I don't even try that most times. We have Kathy Bills, and then Pete Adams, and then down next to him is Dave Whitlock. My own personal name is Mark Nicholson, so that gives you an idea of our board. I'm going to let the town go through and introduce their folks, then we will start up. We will start the meeting with a pledge of allegiance, and then I will turn it over to our presenters. Want to do that? Tony?
Sure. Catherine, you want to just call a roll for our guys?
Okay.
No, we're missing a couple of them.
Mrs. Maltman? Mr. Anderson?
Here.
Mr. Kashani?
Here.
Mr. Giardina?
Here.
Mr. Kosel?
Here.
Mr. Artuso?
Here.
And Mr. Malta is not here.
Not mixing either.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So that's all we have tonight.
Very good. All right, we're going to stand. We'll do a pledge of allegiance. Tony, would you like to lead us in that, or I can do it usually?
I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, gentlemen, why don't we stand up? Tell me who's here, tell me what you're representing, and then tell us what it is you'd like to tell us.
Thank you. My name is Matt Naparella. I'm a site engineer, and I've been retained by Tessy Plastics. With us tonight, Mike Adrian with Tessy, and we're involved as well. The project architect is VIP Structures that will be involved with some of the building work to achieve our goal here with regards to this development piece or redevelopment of the property here that we're talking about. And I'll kind of go into that a little bit. Tessy Plastics, 3 or 4 years ago, purchased the 110 acres?
2 years.
2 years ago, about 2 years ago, and I'll laser it on my graphic, a property off of Mitcheldean Drive that includes an area about 110 acres and a few of those buildings from Mitcheldean, Resende, in that block area. Currently, Tessy is utilizing building 214, which is the white building at this location, and is looking to now reutilize the remaining pieces, which amounts to about 1 million square feet. The proposed project, in which there's an interested tenant, will be a warehouse and distribution facility within those, frankly, big buildings with a lot of clear space. The proposed project itself is to, and we can flip to the other one, and I'll flip it here as well on my paper, is not to do any structural changes to those buildings. The big building being building 200. My laser won't work on that screen. But as well to provide the needs of this proposed tenant, the modifications to that building include adding a lot of truck docks and loading spaces for their needs. And as such, on building 200, they'll be adding really full depth truck docks on both the east and south sides of the building, adding a few on the, sorry, that's the east, on the east and west, and then just a couple up by the old cafeteria area. In total, about 99, just nearly 100 loading docks will be added to building 200. This facility will be modified internally, and when we were in it, essentially is open floor space, but it'll be modified to include gear to which the distribution network within the facility will be utilized as far as incoming and outgoing and being able to handle the loads that this tenant is looking to provide. So the modifications to the site include perimeter heavy-duty asphalt areas to accommodate both the loading and then the trailer temporary storage on the perimeter as well. So when we look at what's happening here, there's 99 docks on building 200 with about 216 perimeter trailer parking. At building 210, there's 18 loading docks with 34 trailer parking. And as well, the current asphalt areas within the encompassed lot include additional trailer storage areas and then a significant parking for the employees and users of the facility itself. Currently, we're not looking at reducing that asphalt area, but seal coating and restriping to make it efficient. When we do the improvements, we are going to be greater than 1 acre of land disturbance or land conversion. Therefore, we will have to meet the New York State speedy stormwater requirements for water quality and water quantity. Currently, under this conceptual level of design, we're showing, let's call it placeholders of water quality, water quantity for the majority of the south and west sides of that building. So as it currently drains through several drainage ditches to the catchment areas along the Resende Road, we're going to mitigate the effects of those additional impervious areas and then connect into the existing water course as it is today at rates of less than what occurred today. So that's our mitigation with regards to storage ponds. On the east side, we will do the same type of thing with some basins, and frankly, we have to take a closer look because we don't have as much open area on that side that we had on the other. So we're in the process of doing that analysis, and our goal is to have all of that packaged for the full submittal, which based on the time frame that we talked about in our virtual call for February 20th, we'll have that taken care of. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is, and this came about when Tessy finalized the purchase of the access rights, and there is actually an easement right that was transferred with that subdivision plan. And the heavy dash lines that I have on here are defined routes of easement rights for access, which essentially brings the truck traffic from this new warehouse distribution facility down Resende, south on Resende, and then to the east on Mitchell Dean to get us back to Salt Road, and avoiding the areas to the west along Phillips Road and such, and Caracas Drive. So that is already defined within the Alta survey. We're memorializing it here, and that's going to be part of a traffic analysis study. We've brought on Amy Dake, so she is providing that. She's with Pissarro now, and they are doing a traffic analysis. The data has been, existing condition data and counts have been collected, and they're in the process of doing the existing condition analysis, and we'll be following up with the proposed add-on and any recommendations from that. We again will have that report for our submittal on February 20th. I think we're here again to listen to input from both the town and the village members so that we can better prepare that application, but we're excited to be able to revitalize this section of the Xerox complex, and Tessy Plastics is looking forward to partnering with the village and town. One thing again on this graphic, just so that we're clear, there is the line now of the corporate boundary of the village of Webster and the town of Webster. Essentially, the buildings of 200 and 210 are in the village of Webster. The parking field and a little piece of 334 are in the town of Webster. Certainly, traffic impacts and stormwater impacts, we want to be partnered with the town as much as the village. So it is, but just to be clear of where that corporate boundary is, so we're all on the same page. That's what I have, and again, we're here to entertain gather your questions so we can better answer them later on, and anything we can answer today, we certainly will try to. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Right now, what I would do is I would ask if one of you folks have any particular questions to initiate
Well, I
them, otherwise.
think this was a good start, because, I mean, we knew a little bit because we saw some of this before, but apparently the board, this is all new to them, 100%. So that's a benefit. The gentleman spoke in regards to the whole project. I think it's a great project coming in, and I think you hit it right on the head, and this is one of the things discussed. The traffic and drainage, as far as the town is going to be concerned, and that's why we asked for, traffic study right up front as soon as possible, to get that out of the way and get that cleared. Other than that, you guys have got the hard part, we got the easy part, we just got a parking lot to deal with here.
Thank you.
You're dealing with the building, we're dealing with the parking. That's as far as I need to go with it, and I think you did a presentation, showed it pretty much. Anybody?
Any other questions from anyone on that side of the room?
I think it's a great idea, great project, that this is coming into town over here. The facility has been there, it's a shame it's been sitting there empty for so long. And this could be a start of redevelopment of that whole campus over there, so I think this is terrific. Thank you for coming in.
Just a couple of questions on the Speedies permit. Who owns the Speedies permit? Does Xerox still own it? Does Tessy own it, or does someone else own it?
Well, I'll just say far as the development piece in which we are impacting what's there today in existing condition to now the post-development, that would be a Speedies permit for stormwater for construction purposes, of which we initiate with a notice of intent, and at the end of construction with proper mitigation receive a notice of termination. So that stormwater construction permit is Tessy's. If there's an outstanding and existing Speedies permit, and again, Speedies has a lot of different envelopes as far as wastewater and discharges and other things. If there's a pre-existing Speedies permit, I believe that would still be Xerox.
Under Xerox right now.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was, but I just wanted to make sure that.
Yes,
it was
so
doing that.
again, the construction has its own little envelope that we take.
So it would be a short-term change in that
Yes,
for a duration.
right.
Fair enough, thank you. Other members of the board with questions here?
Can we know what the product of this company is?
I can speak to that. There's no product, it's receiving and distribution.
It seems like large scale.
What's that?
I think it seems like large scale, there's a lot of trucks in and out. Now you have a pre-existing truck route, funneling everything to Phillips and onto the expressway.
Right now, the agreed to is funneling it to Salt.
Salt Road, I'm sorry, Salt Road, not Phillips. Now, what about secondary roads? Ridge Road, will that be impacted at all?
Again, well, that's where our traffic report is coming in. The request from the county of what that traffic report should address was handed to Pissarro and Amy Dyke, and she'll be addressing all of those points that were put in that memorandum.
Yeah, understood, but for the traffic report. But what I'm asking is, you got semis entering and leaving those facilities. Do you, well, you would probably know better, expect any of those trucks to use the secondary roads instead of the expressway? Is the product
I
that you'll be
couldn't speak 100% to what
every driver's gonna do, but in their receiving and distribution, it makes way more sense for them to go right down Salt Road, get on 104, and
Understood, yeah,
Yep.
understood.
they shouldn't be on the side roads.
Okay.
That's not to say that it'll never happen, it's just,
All right, well.
you know, I can't guarantee my guys wouldn't do it on the wrong road.
What about soil testing, water testing, when you're gonna be digging things up? This was an industrial facility in the past. Do you expect any contaminants in the soils? Or will there be testing?
They will be testing,
Okay,
absolutely will be testing.
water and test wells. I think test wells are in place
There's gonna be
anyway.
test wells on the site.
And as well, the impact to this would be short of some grading aspects, but relatively shallow depth, and the end product becomes an impervious cap over an area that has grass. So that potentially could help any environmental conditions that exist out there with regards to infiltration issues.
Okay. That's all I got for now.
At what point does seeker come into play? I mean, there have to be letters sent out, obviously, for seeker.
Once they officially submit application, that's, I believe, the seeker will kick in.
That is correct.
Was it at that point?
The village doesn't have a sketch plan review like the town does, so technically the village doesn't have an application in front of it yet to trigger seeker.
Yeah, right.
So it's February 20th will trigger it and they submit their application.
Okay, so that's when they can.
So at that point, the village intends to be lead agency, and so they'll do the appropriate notifications to the other involved agencies. And
Our intent is a full EAF, or the long form will be submitted on the 20th.
Is the warehousing and distribution operation 24/7?
That's what the paperwork said.
I'm gonna say yes.
So it's gonna be pretty much constant, trucks in, trucks out, all the time, every day, all day.
Worst case scenario, yes, but again, I'm not running that business. I don't think that's the way that it is run. I think it's more of a large volume coming in at a specific time, large volume going out at a specific time.
we're at a bit of a disadvantage because we have no clue who the tenant is.
Understood, and I would love nothing more than
We have no
to
clue
tell you who
what's
it is.
going to be warehoused or distributed. So, you know, and it impacts the traffic study. We gotta have some idea how many trucks are gonna come in and out per day, and what times of the day. So if you don't
So
know
for
that-
the traffic study,
well, I don't know
that
what it-
data will be provided without the tenant use, but the traffic engineer has the truck numbers and the distribution of those trucks for her analysis.
Okay.
So I guess it becomes almost a signing of a lease arrangement is based on timing and publicity. And so the tenant has directed us not to disclose that at this point in time. There's still some due diligence periods that are taking place. But at the same time, there's also a clock that they're asking us to advance. So as soon as we are allowed, you'll be the first to know who the tenant is.
Would that be before or after you began to undertake some of these changes? And what I'm driving at is, how do we make that decision?
It would be before.
Fair enough,
It would be before.
fair enough.
Unfortunately, we were supposed to have a meeting this past Friday. We had to cancel it because of a couple illnesses. I was hoping to actually be able to disclose that when we came in here. I realize that makes it easier for everybody. It didn't happen, so it's another week or so out.
Understood. I think they went to the Bills game. There shouldn't be that much laughing when I say
No, I'm
that.
sorry.
Well, it was the week before they won,
There you
right?
go.
So, I mean, that was still a good game.
Are the employees gonna be working a 24/7 schedule, or 5 days a week, 3 shifts, or something like that?
There will be some employees there, that I think the majority of them will be there 5 days a week. I don't know how their shift schedule breaks down. I would have to believe a good bulk of it would be overnight.
Some of the information we have says 1,000 employees will be in there. Would that be 80% during the day, 75% during the, I think the question on, are they gonna be there 24 hours a day is valid in that it will impact a series of our other operations.
I think you're gonna have more employees in there at night than you are during the day. If I was to give an educated guess.
Okay.
So should we suggest that maybe, instead of asking questions that we can't get an answer to, a definitive one, maybe we need to address what we're actually going to be specifically looking for? In other words, how many trucks a day are going to be going in and out of there? They don't have to tell us who they are.
Yep.
But I'd like to know how many trucks are coming and going in the course of any time of the day. Are they running on weekends? That's the stuff that needs to get addressed, in my opinion.
No, fair enough, and all of that actually will come in with the
Yeah,
next
that's-
meeting. All of
that's-
that'll be submitted with the traffic study, including times, estimated truck flow, estimated personal vehicle traffic numbers.
Because with the approval of the Coca-Cola plant over at Tibor Road, they're gonna have 200 trucks coming in and out of there every day. So they're gonna be using Salt Road also.
Yeah, I was gonna bring it up.
It's a massive.
That's gonna be something that your traffic engineer is gonna have to take into account.
Is the traffic study also going to contemplate the extension of Mitchell Dean from Salt Road back to where the Fairlife plant's gonna be?
So Coca-Cola is building a Fairlife plant right now.
Mhm.
So that's gonna, and all their traffic is gonna be diverted over to Salt Road for truck traffic to also go up Salt Road to split off to 104. And that's gonna create a lot of traffic as well that your possible leasing might not know about. So that, you might wanna add that into the traffic study as well, to see what that could possibly be.
I'm assuming we have an existing traffic study for that project?
I'm not sure, that's a town project.
Yes, actually, the Passero reached out to me yesterday. They are the same company that did the traffic study
Okay.
for Fairlife, so they're very much aware of.
So they have all the information then?
Correct.
Excellent.
That's kind of why I reached out to Amy, because I knew she's pretty much well connected around here.
Yeah, and we were able, they requested future development that we're aware of in that vicinity, and we provided them with all of the information already, so.
Typically, that future analysis is a 15-year projection that they try to do the best you can. It's a crystal ball scenario of what potential occurs. But that'll give you existing, this development with whatever is currently on the books, and then a future projection. So it's almost like 3 different numbers in that traffic report that you'll see.
Is there a possibility that you guys, talk to Xerox and come to an agreement or an easement or whatever to have traffic that's going westbound go out Phillips Road to that on-ramp to get on versus sending all the traffic down to Salt? Because Phillips Road, you can get on 104 going west, Salt, you can take going east. That'd be-
No,
No, the other way
Phillips
around.
Road-
Is it the other way around?
Yeah, Phillips
Okay.
Road is east.
Only used.
No, east.
No.
No.
That's west, that goes towards
That
Buffalo.
goes west.
Right, you're
Yeah.
All right.
So that could ease,
The website.
so that
Phillips goes west and
Yeah.
south.
South, you go either way.
South you go east or west.
So that could ease some of the traffic going on Salt Road if they were to be able to, talk to Xerox and be able to use some of that. Both ways, truck traffic going out where there used to be a light, I don't remember, and I don't have good eyesight anymore, so is that road at the end? to the most northern part.
Actually, Phillips Road is more geared to heavier traffic
Right.
because of the multi-lanes.
Right.
That was built for Xerox, obviously.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I'm asking, because Caracas used to have a traffic light there, and a lot of truck traffic would go out that way as well as Mitchell Dean. Just a thought for you.
Just help me
Traffic
to
studies
understand
gonna have to take
this.
into consideration the residential developments that's going on the corner of Schrader and Salt Road, which are 240 townhouses plus another 30 or 40
Right.
single-family homes being built there. That traffic's all going up Salt Road.
So anything that could ease traffic on Salt Road, maybe diverting over to Phillips would be good.
No, we can certainly talk to Xerox about it. We've got a pretty good relationship, so.
Yeah. I would assume.
We might have to reorganize some of your easements, access easements, because I don't know how you're gonna gain access to that middle parking lot between building 200 and 210, because if you're going off of that, you have to use that North Arch Road in order to get into the parking lot. So you might have to I don't know if it's Xerox that you negotiate the easement for, an access easement?
We'll continue to pursue what those easements were at the time of the subdivision. There was,
Yeah, because it's all cut off, so basically.
right, no, I see what you're saying, you know,
So hopefully.
It looks like.
So what that, if I might, so what that map is showing is actually the line between the town and the village. We currently have an easement to run up to the far end of those parking lots. The employee parking lot, and then again, the heavy
But
truck
the-
parking lot up
We're
on the
just going,
top.
it looks like it's Denham Road that continues.
And Denham Road does make a loop right around and goes in the
Do you have an
backside.
easement for
Do
that
you have an
whole
easement
loop?
over that?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
Okay.
just because you,
Again, like I said, the reason this cuts it off right there is it's a town versus village. It's two separate drawings. I guess we should have dotted that in there.
Yeah,
We can fix that on
just
the,
I'm only going on what your engineer said.
I understand.
When he said it was the heavy dotted line was the easement.
Right.
Really, it includes that other part of Denham Road. Because that gets you back down
back down to the center.
to the loading docks on the, what is that, the east side of building 200.
So on the big map, it shows that both of
Is Phillips, I'm thinking of ingress and egress on Phillips Road. Can you go east?
No.
I don't think so.
No, you can't go east on 104 if you're asking that. You can only go towards Buffalo.
It's this, I don't know where it is, it's this.
Right. I just want to make sure they hit access.
the easement right does come all the way
This is-
along Caracas to Phillips.
this part.
This is,
We got access, but then there's only easement on Phillips.
Question, does your study address both the incoming and the exiting traffic? And where my mind is going with this is, you described an operation that was going to take place in the building, and you're going to put about 100 new docks in that building. Is there, to my knowledge, and tell me if I'm wrong, there's no manufacturing going to take place in there?
correct.
Which means there's going to be a fair amount of activity in bringing over the material that you're then going to distribute and ship out of there. So there's traffic coming in, is it coming from off-site, are you making it somewhere? I mean, and that's unfair, I recognize that question.
It is coming from off-site.
Okay, So they're gonna be adding to the traffic additionally coming in that way.
So the traffic report will be dealing with both movements in and out. And we'll have the total count as well, and we can break that out as far as incoming versus outgoing.
You said that'll be truck traffic and employee traffic?
Yes, and we can segregate the larger vehicle from the pedestrian POV vehicle.
So you'll be running a yard tractor.
Jumping ahead with it, maybe, as far as traffic going over the Phillips.
It should just be jogging from the, across the
Westbound
dock
traffic
to the docks.
takes Phillips Road, eastbound takes Salt.
Right.
It's a
Like I was
possibility
saying,
to split them, you know, so you're not loading all the traffic on one road.
I got a question for you. I see on your site plan, the entire facility is wrapped with a security fence. Is this a controlled access facility? Will every point of ingress, egress be access controlled?
Yes.
Is this a security fence that this thing is going to look like a prison?
No. Just regular chain link fence. Just like what's there now. Right, currently, there's a chain link fence around 2/3 of those buildings, and in all honesty, most of the buildings on that campus.
And actually
It's-
divide
there's-
down a lot of
there's-
international business zones within this area. There's a lot of different, because Xerox had to break off individual business zones for their purpose. So there's a lot of fence on that property today, and there'll be some removal of some, and then adding, making sure there's a secure perimeter for this tenant.
Okay, but for all intents and purposes, you wouldn't consider this a secure facility with a security force for the building? Is the ins and outs, could it be inferred that the materials coming in and going out are of a sensitive nature to warrant a security fence?
Not in the sense that you're alluding to.
Well, I'm just putting it out there.
You're running me down a road, I can see where this is going.
Because you won't tell
No,
us what's
it's-
coming in and going
it's-
out, so.
It's just your standard chain link fence like you'd have around your house. It's, you know, I think they want an 8-foot rather than a 6. But it's still a standard, there's a lot of 8-foot fence on that site currently.
So are all the roadways gated?
The ins and outs into those buildings will have gates. Whether or not they ever close, you know, typically in an operation like this, you either have IDs or you have a scan system. As the truck's rolling up, you know, they're identified that they can drive right in. Same thing with the employees, they badge through, or they park in the parking lot, they come in and scan. I mean, right now Xerox has access control, we have access control in all of our buildings. You have access control in all of your buildings, from the looks of it. I mean,
Right,
it's,
but I mean, truckers in and out, they're not all there.
no, but they'll be identified.
Just kidding.
Yep, no, I don't see it being random trucks coming and going.
So one thing that you said at the beginning, that piqued my interest, you said no structural changes. I see several significant structural changes, because you're gonna be
Wrong word.
demoing some buildings, you're gonna be adding structural, a lot of structural changes just to add the doors, plus you're talking a small addition to connect some of the buildings.
So in your world, yes, there'll be structural
Okay,
changes.
thank you.
Sorry,
Like,
I'm a site engineer, and I'm used to, like, you know, we're not building a million
Right.
square foot of building here.
Okay.
We're modifying what is there.
That's there.
Certainly, in your world, there's gonna be significant structural changes to put all those overhead large doors in. And that's why VIP they've already spent 2 days in the facility seeing where we could do this and where we can't.
Okay.
So, but
wanted to
yes,
clarify that.
yes, thanks, Aaron.
Yeah. Just to even clarify a little further, none of the doors are actually structural to the building.
No,
You know, the facility is freestanding, even the exterior walls aren't actually structural.
right.
You know, it's a free supported, column supported building, so.
But even demoing some of the buildings that you're talking about and adding a small, that's still structural as well.
So just so everyone is clear, my color, because of CAD, the magenta are existing pieces that will be raised and to allow essentially on this edge a straight line of loading. And this area right here is an existing loading area that just has a covered canopy that the tenant wants to have it similar for all of the vehicles that they back into the structure of the building.
Is the demolition going to take place all at once, or are you going to do it individually, one at a time?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Is the demolition going to be done all at once? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if I'm counting it correctly. You're going to do that one at a time or all at once?
So the exterior docks, as far as the removal of those, I'm assuming once we start moving forward, the same company will be doing them. They'll go one right after the next and just take them down. They're metal frame sitting on foundations, are relatively easy to take down. It's a pretty straightforward process. The existing interior docks, as Matt had alluded to, they don't want interior docks. You're trying to back the trucks into a darker space. They want it all uniform straight across. Those will just get the bottom end filled to floor level, and the docks will be moved out to the front edge.
So if I've got that correct in my mind, this is a bunch of dock doors attached to the outside of the building?
Correct.
The exterior wall?
Correct.
This is no backing in?
Correct.
As we all have seen a couple of those?
Right, and the ones that are being demoed are the back-in style.
Okay.
So it's a building onto a building you're actually pulling the trailers into. Those will be removed, and it'll just be a straight row of docks all the way down that wall.
I guess when we talk about construction schedule, I mean, that's almost, Mike will have some control of it, but it's means and methods of once that awarded contractor comes in and says, okay, there's going to be a hard line schedule to get the entire project done. And that selected contractor will be involved with setting his first, second, and third. But the intent here is it's one contract, and it will happen in a rapid fashion.
I see you're projecting 1,000 employees. Is there potential for growth? I do realize you're restructured an existing parking lot to 1,700 parking lots, almost 1,800 parking lots. Is there a thought?
I will be honest with you. We did have discussions, but that is, I think, what we all determined was worst case. So we wanted to come into this level of giving you worst case scenario. We will define that further with the tenant and get those specific numbers along with these other data that we're talking about. But in our mind, as Paul will tell you, engineers tend to be engineering conservative, so we're trying to give you worst case scenario with that round number of 1,000 employees.
Okay, so the 1,780 is not the worst case, it's the 1,000 is the worst case.
That's our understanding, yes, sir.
And then where is this in relation to the Xerox remediation site?
So Xerox remediation is actually out in the employee parking out there.
If you're just doing restriping, is there any kind of deed restrictions for disturbing the surface of this parking lot and also the big remediation site right across the street that says Cat Farm?
Remediation site across the street.
Caracas Drive, the big black area?
So it's an abandoned landfill.
We won't be doing anything in that area.
Is there any deed restrictions for activities that you have in this parking lot area? Because of that site, it's just immediately adjacent to the project?
Not that I'm aware of. The only thing we're gonna do in that parking lot at the very maximum would be to repave it. We're not digging out in that parking lot or.
No, I understand that, but, repaving projects, you can wind up tearing it up and whatever. There were certain parcels out here that did have deed restrictions on them. And I think that's something we ought to know, is that this area still has a deed restriction over it.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but we don't have any restriction on it that I'm aware of. Right.
What's your desired occupancy date? Operational? Are you talking 2024?
I'm gonna say first quarter 2025.
So about a year's time.
I think it takes that long to get this done.
Okay.
I'm usually pretty aggressive.
Other questions from anybody here with the village board? Questions you've got?
Derek, we talked about maybe having trucks go down, they're gonna go westbound on 104 go down to Phillips Road. What about trucks coming in? Could trucks that are coming eastbound on 104 get off the Phillips Road exit, and will those going westbound get off the Salt Road exit?
I guess at this point in time, we're gonna investigate that traffic pattern off of 104 to the site, both in and out, so that, and I think, operationally discuss that with the tenant and do the best we can to minimize the impact of the neighborhood. And in concert with what we talked about, the other potential impacts, Coca-Cola, the residential development and such, and come up with a plan. I don't have that answer sitting here today, but we'll talk to our traffic consultant and the tenant and do the best we can.
And it's not just the truck traffic, it's the 1,000 employees.
Understood, and that shift change and when that happens and all of that, I fully understand.
Because there is an implication, by the way, the striping is in the driveways for the large parking area, if the employees would be directly controlled.
Understood.
The only thing I would add to that is if you're looking at it, I would encourage you not to look at Route 250. You could bring people off there fairly easily and bring them down, but I think right now it only has two lanes of traffic under the bridge that go to the north. They immediately close to a one-lane traffic. And then when you get down by Orchard or Kittleberger's, you got one lane that goes down the other way. And I think if you brought trucks out that way, or bring them in that way, I think that's pretty significant. Other questions?
Actually, I think this has been good. That we're all together here, we all got the same education, we're all on the same page with it. And again, I think we've hit the highlights. Right. Traffic, some drainage, and I think those are gonna be the main things that are gonna be those. When you go to a public hearing, guaranteed that is going to be the main topic.
Okay.
The site, that building is not gonna matter to the people along Phillips Road and Salt Road, and it's the traffic going by.
Yep.
And that's what needs to get thoroughly addressed, and I think you're on the right track with that.
And again, tomorrow morning I will be talking to our traffic consultant, bring up these points and tighten that up. And I think come public hearing, she will be standing side by side with me. I'll wear my vest and we'll see what happens.
During the duration of the lease, you guys plan on staying, Tessy plans on staying in the ownership, you don't plan on selling anything off?
As far as I know, we're not selling anything.
Okay.
It's
Just
not my intent. No.
Okay.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Been good. Mark, I want to, on behalf of our board, thanks for getting together with us.
Thank you, and
behalf of
likewise, I appreciate you guys coming down here and having some thoughts. Anybody else here got a comment or question? Everyone's all set. You got any for us?
No, again, we appreciate this opportunity and this helps us to put ourselves in the proper footing for that submittal on February 20th and that upcoming, again, joint meeting in March, I believe is what was on the tentative schedule. So we look forward to it and moving this forward for Tessy and our tenant.
Understood. Thank you
And we
very
hope
much.
to disclose that to you guys. I think that will answer a lot of questions.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
All right, for us then here with that piece being done, unless you guys have got something else, I'm gonna close the meeting.
Close it.
Close and done.